So what once was me wanting to own the nonprofit, after being in that world, I realized that I may not necessarily want to start my own nonprofit because there are so many multiple, like multi layers in owning a nonprofit, or not owning, but having like leading a nonprofit. So my dream had subtly shifted from having my own nonprofit to having my own business, because I knew in my heart of hearts that I did still want to help people bring their visions to life, help them experience this joy and this um, seeing their dream come to life through by using my own creativity and my own skills to help bring that vision to life. And so I knew that's what I wanted to do. So instead of saying I have my own nonprofit to I own my own business and I create full time, that was what I wanted to do. And so here I am still working at the physical therapy clinic, and I'm also working at this nonprofit. And I'm like, okay, where do I shift? How do I shift? And what I ended up doing is I leaned on my community. So from the conference that I went to, there was a Facebook group, and I just started reaching out to people. And I'm like, hey, you need, like, I saw that they needed help with this or that or whatever. And I just started putting myself out there. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, I sucked. Okay. Like, I wish that I could say that I started, like, I went to school and I was like, a trained professional. Like, no. Like, what ended up happening is I actually Googled like design programs. And of course, Adobe came up. And I'm like, see, I'm not at that level yet where I have to like pay a monthly subscription because I don't even know how to use this. I don't even know what to do with it. So I looked for the best alternative, and now it has become more popular because Canva has either collaborated or bought them out. But it's called Affinity. It was the cheapest program, but had still what I needed to do in order to learn graphic design. And I remember a friend of mine needed a logo, and I was like, okay, I will help you create your logo. And she didn't really know exactly what direction. Like, I didn't know how to lead her through a brand strategy or anything at the time. She told me what she wanted. I'm like, okay, got it. So I used that as my project, and I downloaded the program, and I'm like, what does this button do? What does that button do? Oh, that draws like two dots and then it makes a line. Like, that's really cool. Later, now I know those are vectors. And that's where I started. Like, literally the base layer of where I was what does this program do? And let me click all the buttons. Let me find all the videos that I can on YouTube and just teach myself. And I did. I started just doing that. So I worked on that project. And then I started seeing other people who were asking in this, the conference group that I was a part of, asking for things. And I just kept putting myself out there. And there was one person who ended up giving me a chance, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's try this. Um, Again, I sucked. She had an established brand, which was helpful, but I was able to learn with her. I also ended up having one of my first clients as well, my other first client, and she has been instrumental in my progress. Like, she's still one of my clients to this day. She's amazing. She's great. Love working with her. And so these two clients were the ones who first gave me a shot. And I truly appreciate that, because my business wouldn't be where it is if I didn't make those connections and just took a chance on myself and said, hey, look, this is what I'm working with. This is where I am. And it worked out. It literally has worked out so far. And so I just took a chance on me yet again. In last video, I said, like, I wasn't afraid of no. Like, these are part of my not afraid of no's. But now, fast forward a little bit, I'm working for the nonprofit and working for my own business doing freelance work. And after about a year and a half, I was like, you know what? It's time. I need to be able to focus my efforts on building my business if I really want to make this work. And so I ended up transitioning slowly over into my business full time. Now, in the last video, I did mention like I worked harder than ever before, and I really did. So much so that I led myself to burnout. I was super stressed. I was overwhelmed. I was having panic attacks. I was working from like 4 in the morning till like 9 o'clock at night. Like it was just so much. And I wouldn't even say that it was productive work. It's something that I tell my clients today is that I would call this creative chaos. I was creating my own creative chaos, meaning I was creating my own projects that I had to, build my website, and I had to, come up with my content pillars, and I had to come up with all my systems, and I had to come up with all of the right branding and the right look and the colors and the feel and the pictures and all these things. I spent so much time creating this chaos that I was like, you know what? I'm being productive. I checked off my website. I created a lead generator. I created some content for social. And like, as someone, when you are starting to do something for the first time and you kind of get nervous, to be quite honest, is that you get nervous of like, okay, I don't really know how this is going to work. I'm not really 100% sure, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep doing it. And as recovering perfectionists and high achievers, we tend to say, you know what? If I just stay busy and if I stay productive, then I'm still moving forward. But sometimes we are like, the Fred Flintstones of like running in place. And that ends up kind of being your sticking point. Like you end up kind of getting stuck because you're trying to make productive moves, but in reality, you're just creating the chaos to just stay stuck where you are. And so for a little while, that's where I was kind of bouncing around in, is I was being productive and building my business, but I was actually not really pouring into my clients as far as progressing with my clients in bringing in more clients and progressing my revenue and doing all the different things. Like I was in my creative chaos. But what I ended up having to do is create boundaries. So instead of trying to work from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m., I had to take a step back and say, you know what? I need to take care of me, and I need to do the inner work in order to give myself the confidence in order to move forward. So the answer to moving my business forward wasn't a matter of doing more work. It was actually a matter of doing more inner work on me in order to be able to show up for my business in the way that it needed me to do that. And so what I did for that is I created boundaries saying, okay, I'm not going to check my email until I'm actually sitting at my desk clocked in. So I removed my email from my phone. Like I used to get notifications from clients. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to work on that. I need to go and answer that. I need to do this. And so by creating that boundary, I was able to remove the work, the busy work, and the things that could wait within 24 hours. They could wait. I needed to do my journaling, like, because I've been in therapy before. And so I brought back all of those basic fundamental tools that I learned in therapy to apply with this in my business. And so instead of checking my emails and working on things at the early hours of the morning, instead I journaled. I walked. I took a walk with my dogs. I worked out. I did the things to pour into myself in order to be able to show up better. And so what that looks like for now, like in today's world, so that was back then when I first started. Now, today's world is that recently my wife and I, this past year, we made a decision that yes, like we like to go for like neighborhood walks, and that works perfectly fine. But what we needed to do is be a little bit more intentional on where we walked. So there is like a trail walk that we do that we really love, but it's 30 minutes away from where we currently live. And so in order for us to do that, we have to block our schedules off until 11. Like I don't start work until 11 a.m. And that was completely terrifying for us. For my wife, she's an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. We also both own a business together. And so by blocking off our day and starting it out at 11 was terrifying, because I'm like, that is removing productive hours from my day to go and walk, and to go and, like, our commute is 30 minutes each way, and then to walk for an hour. Like, is this actually really worth our time? And we were like, you know what, let's try it. Let's try it out for a month and let's see. Because what was happening is we were slipping into working that early mornings, late nights, like just this hustle mentality, but that is not sustainable long term. So we were like, okay, let's rebalance ourselves and let's try this out for a month. So Tuesday through Thursday, we go ahead and block our schedules and go for this walk. And after a month, I realized my anxiety was so much lower. Like, when I'm not moving my body and pouring into myself, I create from an energy up here. And that is not a healthy creating. It is not a fun type of creating. It's created from anxiety, from stress. And that's not what I want to do. And so when we do go walk and I come back, and yes, technically my schedule has less hours, but I get so much more done because I have put boundaries and prioritized myself to pour into me to show up better for my own business. And so although it was very terrifying to block that time, now it is like our sacred time. We were like, non-negotiables. This is what we're doing, and that's it. Point blank, period. We are not changing anything in that Tuesday through Thursday. And so we it I would say it helps me reset my mind. It helps with my anxiety. And it also allows us as a couple and also as business partners to reconnect and say, okay, what does your day look like? What does my day look like? How can we support each other in this? And it helps get us aligned, especially owning and operating three businesses is a little bit chaotic at times, because each business has its own needs. Each business has its own things. And in our relationship, it also has our own things, along with our dogs. Like, they need attention. Like, there's just a lot of different things that are going on. But during this time, we're able to walk our dogs, give them the exercise they need, give them the attention, also move our own bodies to help reset ourselves and our own mental health. And we also were able to connect with each other as a couple and business partners, and to help talk about the business. And like, we do, some days we do vision work, some days we talk about what it is right now, some days we talk about our finances. Like, there's just an array of things that, like, it's our time to just reset and recalibrate and realign. And so I would say boundaries have really been a game changer, when having a boundary to help you do the work on yourself in order to show up better. The other thing that I would say, that I have learned over the years, is that talking about what you do and sharing your accomplishments and celebrating your wins is not bragging. And I come from a place of being humble, and being not arrogant, not what's the word I'm looking for, not being arrogant, egotistical, that kind of thing. And I thought that by sharing your accomplishments, that is more leaning to the ego side. And I had this mindset shift, once I realized is that you are not, by you gatekeeping your God-given, universe-given, whoever you believe in, given talents, by you keeping that, you are not helping someone else who could benefit from what you do. So, for example, I can create and I can understand people's messaging and branding and understand what they're envisioning, and I can bring that to life. By me not sharing what I do, then I'm potentially not helping someone achieve their goal because I'm too humble, which is not really, to share what I do. And so it has to be this mindset shift of, it's not bragging. It's that I am saying, hey, look, this is my skill set. Could this help you? And then it's a collaboration. It's a partnership. You're not selling to someone and convincing them like in a salesy, like creepy way of like, I'm going to convince you to work with me. No, it's that, hey, you have a problem, I have a solution, let's collaborate, let's partner up together, and I can help bring that vision to life. I can help make your life better. So instead of you being a liability to somebody's company, you are now an asset to that company. You are going to bring your skill sets to help them further along their journey. And so it's not bragging. You are simply sharing your gift and your skill set with the world to help somebody who needs it. Okay. And then I would say the last thing is, and this is probably the most recent thing that I have realized within the past, like this past quarter, is that you cannot build it alone. And I've heard that for many, many, many years. But it's not until this year that I was like, you know what? It's time. It's time for me to get out of my home office. It's time for me to get out of my other office. Like I have two offices. It's time for me to get out of my office, away from my computer, and actually in my community. Because my job is it's digital. I work online. All my clients are nationwide. So I actually don't have very many clients in actual physical, like the actual physical location where I am. I don't have clients there. I have them all nationwide. And so it's easy to slip into this world of just being digital. But there is something so special about being in person and making real human connection with other people. So I've started going to different networking groups, and that has really been a game changer for me, is meeting other people who are in the same industry as me, um, potential clients possibly, but also more importantly is finding mentors and mentees. Like I am able to share and give my knowledge to somebody and to help someone further their journey, but also there are people who are willing to pour into me. And that is amazing. Like, I'm just so grateful for that. However, the biggest caveat to this is that although I have found community recently, I have tried this before and that did not work. And now looking back, it's that I was in the wrong room. Is that it's kind of like dating. Finding your community is like very much like dating. Is that finding people to surround yourself with who align with what you do and how you do business and what your values are and what your mission is. Like there's something to be said about being at a table where it aligns with you. Because I've been in rooms where I was and I did, I'm going to be quite honest with you, I did not feel comfortable. I'm like, this is not it. And I tried. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's just me being like my introverted, like kind of nervous self. Like, I don't know. And until recently, I found my groups of community and I'm like, you know what? That was not it. That was not my introverted self just being nervous. It's just that that was not the right room for me to be in. And that's okay. And so kind of coming back to, you can't build it alone, but also you have to find the right room to be in, the right people to surround yourself with. And that has been probably the most rewarding thing so far, is being able to make those connections, those authentic, real connections with real, like in real life people, is just something special. And I'm super excited for this new journey. So to wrap things up, this is my story on how I became an entrepreneur from a healthcare worker who had a crazy idea to follow her passion and her dream of having a nonprofit and then realizing, hey, I'm going to pivot a little bit to own my own business to help people bring their visions to life. And this is where I am currently. So if you would like to connect with me on social at Chelsea in as in Nancy Fazio, Fazio, on Instagram, LinkedIn. I would love to connect with you and to hear about your own journey. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye.